Good afternoon. I am undercover. Not really. I'm looking at my hair. But today I was thinking about this topic, and fortunately I haven't had this happen anytime recently. I did have something similar happen in the last year when I had a client ask me, how much longer do I have on this listing agreement? And I was like, well, you have 2 more months, but if you want to go now, I'll release you today and you can do whatever you want. You can go list with another realtor. You can for sale by owner. As long as you're not taking a buyer, that I had generated for you, you're free to go. I said, because the way I approach this situation is that, like a relationship, when you're dating somebody, you don't want to force somebody to stay in a relationship if they don't like you, if they don't trust you. You're trustworthy. You've done everything you can, right? But no matter what you say, no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to convince them. So my encouragement to others is make sure that our listing is really good, right? Make sure we have a good write-up. Make sure we have good pictures. Make sure we have good marketing, and make sure we're keeping up with the seller, right? And keeping them updated reasonably. I mean, daily updates, sometimes I tell them that's just not realistic. We got to give ourselves a couple days, and I'll usually update you by the end of the week if I don't have daily updates with feedback. Okay. And, but as long as we know that our listing is good and you've checked the pictures, you've checked the write-up, what I like to do, and I'm giving away my little tools, but I'll usually do my write-up, my property description, and then I'll send it to the seller and say, okay, how do you feel about this write-up? Okay. And usually they'll give me some credit, and I said, do not be afraid to critique me. Sometimes I write really well and sometimes I struggle. And your home, and just feel free to tweak it, and so a lot of times they give some helpful feedback, and other times they go, it's great, and we work together so that when I do publish it, they don't go, oh my gosh, you need to say this, or you need to take that out, or and they're happy and they feel like the property is being marketed properly. And so simply put, when they want to cancel a listing, technically when you have a listing agreement, you go 6 months, 12 months, whatever the period of time is that you have agreed upon. I know a lot of realtors want to try to get a year-long listing agreement, but I don't. That's just me. I say, Lord, please have mercy and sell this property. I don't want it to take longer than 6 months. And then I tell my people, and if for some reason you get tired and discouraged and you like me, but you just feel like you want to try somebody else, then, you're not held into a listing agreement and you're free to go and do what you will, or you can come back and sign an extension, right? Because that relationship of trust and teamwork is still there. But what I don't like is a strained relationship. So when they say this type of thing, like, I want to cancel my listing agreement, or how much longer do we have to go? And they start criticizing you, I tell them I would rather maintain a good relationship with you as a friend who happens to be a realtor than be a realtor that you start to despise and strain our relationship. I'd rather let you go with another realtor and bless you and say, hey, if I'm not the one for you, I don't want to force you into this relationship. And so I do release them. Some can call me crazy, but ultimately I trust God to bring me who he wants me to work with, and I trust him to take away who I shouldn't be working with. I mean, recently I had a listing, maybe, 6 months or so ago, and it was a really good listing, and the people just continually tried to find reasons to complain, and I was just like, they were like making up stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is not working. And so finally I was like, you can go, let's just maintain our relationship. And they got a new listing, and I have to say it wasn't as good as my listing, but I had that property sold in 3 days, and they didn't want to sell it for what I sold it for, and they ended up selling it for that 6 months later. So my conscience is clear. So anyway, I don't know how you want to handle it, but I always say, look, here's another thing though. I did fight or resist one of my clients because I knew he was just angry and frustrated. As a seller, I want to encourage you in this. When you sell your home, sometimes homes just don't sell quickly. Especially when you're in subdivisions where there's new homes being built, you have this competition where people will pay, 15, 20 plus grand more on a new home that's the same size than they will for your home that's older and maybe has a different floor plan, right? Or different color scheme or different granite and different, So that's what I was dealing with. And it was, I had tons of visibility, tons of showings, and the feedback wasn't about my marketing. My marketing was very effective and we were getting tons of interest, but the people that saw the home didn't like the floor plan, et cetera, and so on. So everything was out of my hands. And yet what happens as a seller, you get so discouraged that you can't help but associate, if you're not careful, all the negative feedback with your realtor, because your realtor is now relaying back this feedback to you. Okay. And so every time you hear from your realtor and it's, no, they're not interested. They found another house. No, they don't like the floor plan. No, they don't like the bedroom size. Oh, the kitchen's too small. They want more cabinet space. And you hear that over and over and over again for 3, 6, 12 months. A lot of sellers just go, you know what? I know it's not you, but I just need, I want to try another realtor just to change the mojo, and so that's just the name of the game. So I just bless them and say, hey, I want the best for you. Go be free, be blessed. And I'm here for you if you need me. I have had sellers call me and I'm not supposed to talk to them, but I'll tell them, look, stick with your realtor. Take a look at the listing, and if they need to make improvements, just call them and say, hey, can you make some improvements here? I never try to take a listing from another realtor. I never will be trying to win them over to myself. I'll say, no, you honor that listing, and if something's not as good as it could be or should be, then just let your realtor know, hey, I checked out my listing, and could you write it like this, and can you add some more pictures like that, and can you maybe this or that, right? And then it's a team effort. I always say listing a home to sell is really a team effort. Okay, so that's my little 2 cents worth on dealing with that stressful time of when people want to cancel a contract. And sometimes you should, and other times you just need to say, be patient, wait a little longer. It's not my fault that people don't like your bedroom size or don't like your floor plan. That person will come. It's like fishing. We don't know when that right fish is going to take the hook and bite it and we're going to reel it in, but we have to keep fishing. We know we have this right bait, right? We're not going to go fish for tuna with, I don't know, worms or I don't even know, but we're not, you have to know what you're fishing for. And, we just got to keep trying until we catch the right fish that's really going to bite. And we don't know when that fish is going to swim by. So as long as we know there's lots of fish coming by nibbling, we know eventually one's going to take the bait. So be patient. Okay. Don't turn and start attacking your realtor. And as a realtor, try to encourage your people to know that they will come and check your listing. If your listing sucks, you got cruddy pictures, which I see a lot of, then you better go get some good pictures and get that marketing going, because then they are justified. Okay. Have a good day. Hey, Megan.